Search, how often should I clean my gutters? And you'll get the same recycled answer everywhere. Twice a year, as if a house in Phoenix and a house in Kansas City deal with the same trees. They don't. About a third of Kansas City sits under tree canopy, 31% according to the city's own urban forest master plan, while a desert metro like Phoenix runs a fraction of that. That one fact quietly changes almost every gutter question a Kansas City homeowner asks. So we're doing this differently. Here are the 12 questions we hear most: how often, what it costs, whether guards are worth it, why gutters overflow even when they look clean. And we answer everyone with a real home we cleaned right here in the metro. The actual neighborhood, the actual trees, the actual gutters. Not what should happen on some blog. What did on a real Kansas City roof. How often should you really clean your gutters in Kansas City? For most homes, 3 times a year. Here's a real one that shows why. CleanPro cleaned this 2-story home in East Olathe, sitting under heavy tree canopy. And Kansas City has a lot of it, about 31% of the city per its urban forest master plan. That canopy doesn't drop all at once. Silver maple samaras in May, leaves and twigs all summer, then acorns and seed pods in fall that roll straight into the downspout openings and sit there. One cleaning a year leaves gutters like these packed for months. And East Olathe isn't even the heaviest. The older core neighborhoods, Brookside, Waldo, Ward Parkway, sit under bigger, older oaks and maples, and those homes often need a 4th pass. The rule's simple. The more tree over your roof, the more often the gutters need clearing. Spring, late summer, and after leaf drop. This is CleanPro. Real Kansas City gutter cleaning. What actually happens if you don't clean your gutters? In Kansas City, it's not just overflow. It's your foundation. CleanPro cleaned this 3-story historic home in the Longfellow and Midtown area. A tall home with a walkout and hard-to-reach upper gutters. When gutters this high clog, water sheets down the walls and pools against the foundation. And here's the part most people miss. The USDA rates Kansas City's clay soil very high for shrink-swell, meaning it expands hard when it's wet and pulls back when it dries. That movement is what cracks and bows basement walls. Add trapped debris breeding mosquitoes, and winter freeze-thaw building ice dams at the eaves. And one skipped season on a home like this does real damage. On a tall home especially, you can't see it coming from the ground. That's why we cleared every run and downspout to the ground here. This is CleanPro. Real Kansas City gutter cleaning. How much does gutter cleaning actually cost in Kansas City? Be careful with the average price you see online. Those numbers usually come from lead generation sites, not the companies doing the work. And honestly, there's no such thing as an average home. You can't price a small ranch and a big 2-story with twice the gutter the same way. So CleanPro doesn't guess at an average. We price by the linear foot, based on how much gutter your home actually has, starting at $249. This single-story ranch in the Northland has less gutter to clean, so it's near that starting price. A standard 2-story like this Overland Park home has more, and a large home like this one in Brookside has more still. You pay for the gutter you actually have, measured with one flat price up front. Every job includes the same thing: debris removal, downspouts flushed to the ground, and before and after photos. And you get that price before we ever show up. This is CleanPro. Kansas City gutter cleaning. Priced honest, 4.9 stars across more than 3,600 reviews. When's the best time to clean gutters in Kansas City? 2 windows matter most: late spring and late fall. Here's a 2-story home we cleaned in the Brookside and UMKC area in the fall, right in the thick of leaf drop. Fall is the big one. The National Weather Service puts Kansas City's average first freeze around October 28th. So once the oaks and maples let go, you want the gutters clear before that first freeze turns wet debris into ice at the eaves. Spring is the other window, clearing out what winter left so the gutters are open before Kansas City's heavy spring thunderstorms dump water in a hurry. On a tree-heavy home like this one, a summer pass in between keeps it from clogging. In the stretch between the two. This is Clean Pro. Real Kansas City gutter cleaning on the schedule your trees actually need. How do you actually know your gutters got cleaned? And not just the parts you can see? Photos. Clean Pro cleaned this 2-story home in a mature, tree-lined part of Overland Park. And on a home like this, the gutters sit 2 stories up, out of sight from the ground. So we documented, matched before and after photos at the gutter line, showing the debris that came out, the downspouts running clear after the flush, and the final state of every run. You're not taking our word for it. You're looking at your own gutters. And we back it with a 30-day no-clog guarantee. If a downspout backs up right after, we come re-clear it, no charge. That's the difference between hoping it got done and knowing. This is Clean Pro, real Kansas City gutter cleaning, documented. When a company cleans your gutters, do they actually clean the downspouts too? They should, because that's where most of the real blockages hide. Clean Pro cleaned this 3-story home in the Midtown and Westport area, where the downspouts run a long way from roof to ground. Here's the thing. Silver maple samaras and pin oak seed pods pack into the downspout elbows and dam up the outlets, so the gutter trough can look clear while the water path is completely blocked. Clearing the top and ignoring the downspout is how you end up overflowing in the next storm. So our Aquablast process flushes every downspout all the way to the ground and flow tests it, gutter run, outlet, elbow, discharge, until the whole path actually drains. This is Clean Pro, real Kansas City gutter cleaning, start to finish. How do you safely clean gutters on a 2-story house in Kansas City? Not from the top rung of a ladder. That's how people get hurt. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, ladder falls send hundreds of thousands of people to the emergency room every year, and gutter cleaning is one of the most common reasons homeowners are up there. Clean Pro cleaned this 2-story home with a complex roofline in western Shawnee, and a lot of Kansas City metro homes sit on hilly, uneven ground that makes ladder footing genuinely dangerous. Split levels, walkouts, steep older roof lines. The upper and rear gutters are exactly the runs you can't safely reach. So we price 2-story high access work as its own tier and send trained techs with stabilized ladders and a high volume flush system. A clean gutter isn't worth a fall off a 2-story roof. This is Clean Pro, real Kansas City gutter cleaning, done safely. If your Kansas City home has a lot of trees, how often should you really clean the gutters? 3, sometimes 4 times a year. Kansas City is about 31% tree canopy citywide, per the city's urban forest master plan. And on a tree-heavy lot, that load never comes down all at once. Clean Pro cleaned this home in Prairie Village, sitting under heavy mixed deciduous canopy. Oaks and maples dropping samaras in spring, then acorns and seed pods that roll into the downspouts in fall. A home surrounded by mature trees fills its gutters between cleanings every season. The tree-lined pockets, Prairie Village, Brookside, Waldo, are exactly where twice a year isn't enough. The more canopy over your roof, the more often it needs clearing. This is Clean Pro, real Kansas City gutter cleaning, built for homes with real trees. Are gutter guards worth it in Kansas City? And do you still have to clean them? They help, but here's the honest answer. You still need cleaning. Consumer Reports tested gutter guards and found none are truly maintenance-free. Even the best micro-mesh still needs periodic cleaning. Clean Pro cleaned this 2-story home in South Kansas City that already had screens installed, and they still needed service. Kansas City's fine debris, silver maple samaras, and pin oak catkins, mats on top of many guard types, or slips right through, so gutters clog above, around, and underneath the screens. We clean all of it, guards in place. Guards make the most sense on tree-heavy lots, where the debris keeps coming. On a lighter lot, a routine schedule is often the better value. Anyone who says guards mean you'll never clean again hasn't cleaned gutters under Kansas City trees. This is Clean Pro, real Kansas City gutter cleaning, guards or no guards. Does homeowners insurance cover gutter cleaning in Kansas City? No. Routine cleaning is on you, not the policy. Clean Pro cleaned this two-story home in the historic Northeast, and here's how it actually works. Homeowners insurance covers sudden events, wind, hail, fire, but the insurance industry specifically excludes maintenance, wear and tear, and damage from clogged gutters, because that's considered preventable. So, a hailstorm that dents your gutters might be covered. The slow overflow that rots your fascia, floods a basement, or shifts a foundation on our clay soil is not. Keeping your gutters clear is exactly what protects you from the damage insurance won't pay for. Cheap maintenance now beats an uncovered repair later. This is Clean Pro, real Kansas City gutter cleaning. Why do your gutters overflow when it rains, even though they look clean? Because the blockage you can't see is the one that matters. Clean Pro cleaned this raised ranch in Waldo, where the trough looked fine from the ground, but the water was backing up anyway. In Kansas City, silver maple samaras pack into the downspout elbows and pin oak sludge dams the outlets. So the open gutter looks clear, while the water path is closed. Then, a heavy Kansas City downpour hits. The restricted flow can't keep up, and it spills right over the front edge. That's why we don't just look at the trough. We flush and flow test every downspout to find the hidden blockage. If your gutters overflow but look clean, that's the tell. This is Clean Pro, real Kansas City gutter cleaning. How do you choose a gutter cleaning company in Kansas City? Check 4 things: published pricing, defined scope, photo proof, and a real guarantee. Clean Pro cleaned this large 2-story home in the Ward Parkway and Sunset Hill area, and it's a good example of all 4. We publish a starting price up front so you're not guessing. Our scope includes the downspouts flush to the ground, not just the visible trough. We send before and after photos so you can verify the work you can't see from the ground. And we back it with a 30-day no-clog guarantee. A company that does all 4 is one you can trust with a home like this. Clean Pro works the whole metro: Kansas City, Overland Park, Olathe, Lee's Summit, Liberty. 4.9 stars, across more than 3,600 reviews. This is Clean Pro, real Kansas City gutter cleaning. Proven. That's 12 questions, 12 real Kansas City homes. The actual neighborhoods, the actual trees, the real gutters. That's the difference between advice and proof. If you want your home documented the same way, Clean Pro cleans the entire Kansas City metro at one flat price, 4.9 stars across more than 3,600 reviews. Get a free quote in about 15 minutes. The link's below.